Good morning and welcome to another edition of Health Matters. To be specific, our advocacy and our awareness on the issue of rape in Liberia. So today, my panel is Ambassador T. Lawrence Diuga, and we are going to be teaming up to bring a regular awareness to the situation that is going on in Liberia as it concerns the issue of rape. And and this program comprises of the awareness, comprises of testimonies and possible uh, interventions or recommendations. And so stay tuned and we will be right back. We just want to play you a beautiful Liberian song that tells us wherever we are, we should maintain the peace. Thanks for joining us this morning and stay tuned, share the broadcast.
It's Sibiribida, Sibiribida, Fatal. It's narrow, thick and talking fat, but it can still eat fish and cookies together. You from the other side, I from this side, we can still dance together. Let's come together, maintain the peace. Liberia is all we are. Oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ay, babu popole, la gua mondiemo. Ay, babu popole, la gua mondiemo. The time we take to cause trouble, we should take that time to do something constructive in unity. Mama Liberia need us. Mama Liberia need us. Let's stop the two maggots. It can benefit us when we pray for each other. We will succeed when we come together as one. We will succeed when you get on your knees to pray. Oh, Liberia day. When you get on your knees to pray, put Liberia first. Ataten in a kwa, Abba Mauyambo, by Liberia Jekpa. Let's stop undermining one another. Put our interests last. Put Liberia first. Let's come together. Let's see the peace. Liberia is all we have. We don't want a palava. We don't want a halala. We don't want a palava. We don't want a confusion. Let's come together. Let's see the peace. Liberia is all we have. Teeth and tongue can fret, but it can still eat fish and cookies together. You from the other side, I from this side, we can still dance together. Let's come together, let's in the peace. Liberia is all we have. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that was the peace song, Liberia is all we have. Wonderful composition. And it tells us about maintaining the peace. There are so many things that happen um, that cause the peace to be broken. But that is our prayer for this nation, Liberia. Today, like I said earlier, we are continuing our awareness and our advocacy against rape. And we are talking about possible interventions this time. So I want to ask my brother that have been my son and brother because I know he's been more involved into this advocacy against uh, drugs and against anything that affect the young people in
drugs.
Liberia. Yeah, so he had been in the vineyard pushing reforms and everything. So we want to hear from him this morning, and you will be hearing from him often. So you are welcome, Ambassador Lawrence. You are welcome. So how are you this
Yeah, let me
morning?
say a very big
How is
thank you.
yeah?
Like I said, I'm doing great, and thank God we are okay. Just unfortunately, I woke up to the news this morning about a lady who was allegedly killed at BLW Junction in Painesville City, lying in the pool of blood. And as part of my responsibility to this nation, I have to do a post and calling on the government of Liberia and women organizations, including March for Justice, to also join us and making sure that the government can give the late Princess Cooper family justice as well. But specifically, I'm doing fine. It's good to be on this platform, and let me say thanks for the innovation. A platform created to talk about issues affecting young people in our society and beyond. I'm overwhelmed to be on the platform this morning. And like you said, most often we will be here creating sufficient awareness for our young boys, for our ladies, for our kids, as it relates to issues affecting them, ranging from drug and substance abuse, rape, sexual and gender-based violence, and talk about many societal issues. I'm actually honored to be on the platform this morning.
Thank you, thank you. I also saw um the report from Liberia as a concerned princess, the late princess. One of my platform to a radio have a rating have a news on that incident, and so we are saddened, truly saddened by that news. It's nothing, it's nothing to write home about. You don't want to wake up in the morning and see that kind of thing happen to any family member of yours. Neither do you want to hear such a news. So it is so terrible that we live in a society that it's just life does not mean anything. I mean, anybody can just kill anybody, and things, you know, you don't hear anything else again. I mean, this investigation, when they are going on, at the end of it, they should they should let the public know what happened, the end result, so people can know that justice has been served. But most of the time, we find out that everything is just under the bridge. So hopefully that uh, all the advocacy groups or the women group, youth groups, they will come together and you know with one voice and speak and ensure that government do something about this case. Not only this case, but as many cases that are pending, that we will hear what is going on, and the law will take its proper course. Having said that, I want to say thank you again for coming on the platform. I want to know what's obtaining as it concern the advocacy. We want to start with the issue of rape. There was a time you went to. I remember there was a boy involved that you interviewed, and there was this little baby that was the victim. And since that time, I've not heard anything. How far is that case?
Yes, like we did an interview with the young man Kosi Sese as a to this popular crime the act unfolding. So I went there to Bangui. I spoke with the perpetrator and he gave his side of the story that he maintained his innocence, and he also pointed finger at the uncles who also was involved into the alleged raping of the 3 years old kid. And I spoke with the uncle, I spoke with the mother, and so I also went back to the police station. I spoke to the head for the women and children, and he told me on that fateful day the case has been transferred to court, and presently the young man is in the juvenile cell and waiting for court trial, waiting to conclude the investigation so he can have his time in the court. But the issue of rape in Liberia is a non-bailable offense. So if
Yeah.
anybody accused of rape, you will definitely go to jail until you can have your time in court. So presently that case is at the Monrovia Central Prison, and so the young man is presently in jail and waiting his time. And so the public also call on the police to investigate the uncle as well. But additionally, our SOS call gave us some result. Other civil society organization went there to identify with the family, but I couldn't talk to the little kid because of some reason best known to the Ministry of Gender. They said they don't want to display her her photo on the social media. They want to protect her
Yeah.
security as well. So I couldn't talk to that particular little kid. But howbeit, the issue of rape is gradually becoming a culture. And in as much President Weah has made some effort declaring rape as a national emergency, relevant institutions and authorities should also push the president message file or his proclamation declaring rape as a national emergency to work in that direction and see how best to end this culture of rape, because it falls directly on the lap of the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection. And also, a few days ago, last month, in the Garnetsville area, New Georgia estate, at the South Joseph Police Station, there was a rape case that was ongoing. I have to call the Ministry of Gender and have them informed. I told the Children's Parliament and also have them informed as well, so they can take seizure of the matter. And one also happened in the Sinker Bell, where a 50 years old man sodomized a 6 years old kid. So this is gradually becoming a culture. And if nothing is done, we will definitely lose our kids to the issue of rape. If nothing is done, we'll have a society or a generation of young kids who will definitely be traumatized. Society will name them. We are in a society stereotypical, quick to name people. It will also shame them as well. So something must be done. And I think this platform will definitely elevate the voices of youth activists who are seriously campaigning against the issue, the culture of rape, so we can definitely bring it to an end. In a much it will not end, it must be minimized. There must be more awareness. We need to talk to our kids and all of that. But government will have a role to play. You need to support youth activists who are also carrying the awareness to schools, to community, and all of that. So if that is done, and I can tell you that the Liberian government and all of us can win the war against rape. In Singapore, the issue of rape is at a very minimal level. In Norway, it's the same as well. In Denmark, at a very minimal level. In Switzerland, at a very minimal level. So it can certainly be done in Liberia. So those that rape, like we said, we need to have a court, a special court to fast track the issue of rape cases. You need to have a DNA machine. Somebody may be wrongly implicated, and the man will spend 10 years in prison. So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you will discover that this
That
person
was,
is not involved.
yeah. Yeah. So if the question here is, it's good you brought out this point. The question here is, if rape is declared a national emergency before the declaration, I want to believe all these mechanism must be put in place. You must have the proper equipment, you must have the manpower, you must have all the
Hmm.
processes put together to to bring the perpetrator to book. So this thing was declared a national emergency. Was there nothing put in place to check you know the the perpetrator? Nothing put in place, because if you say rape is a national emergency, you already know that this is what you're going to do to check this. This is from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. And the process is going to be fast track. It's not going to be like any other process, like the regular thing, because it is an emergency. So if it's an emergency, it should be treated as such. So all the counties at the county level, the different hospital, the different police station, the civil society, or community organizations, just, I mean, all hands should be on deck. Is this not what is going on?
When the president declared rape as a national emergency, it was the issue of a little kid that was raped in Bombing County, and the guy used razor blade, and at time actually shared that particular issue on the social media, and it caught the government attention. And young people took the street. It was a black march demanding President Weah to declare rape as a national emergency. But what is actually missing here is that probably the president may not have an understanding in a particular sector, so that's the reason he brought those professionals to help him. Because when the president speak, mind you, it's a policy as well, and the policy must be implemented. But to where the mark has always been missed is that those people the policy will affect should
Mhm.
always be part of the policy making. So what should
Exactly.
actually be happening is that bring the civil society organization on deck, bring the parents, bring the perpetrator, bring the media, bring concerned citizen, bring permanent citizen as well. And, bring people from all walks of life, and let's develop a policy, because it's not just about declaring this is a national emergency. Since the president is declaring, what can be done to curtail and address the issue of rape? And maybe somebody from the media will say we need a DNA machine. As much we want to declare rape as a national emergency to tackle this rape, we need a DNA machine. Somebody will say we need to work with civil society organization. Somebody will say we need to
Exactly.
work with our communities to create more awareness. Somebody will say we need to work with schools to create more awareness. Then we are developing a roadmap to fight the
Hmm.
issue of rape in our society. But that was not done because of the president concerned about sexual and gender-based violence. He was pushed to the wall. He was pressed on by civil society organizations, mounting calls from parents, from perpetrator, from those that are victims, calling on him to declare rape as a national emergency. So he did, and we expected the Ministry of Gender to develop a framework document, a policy
Exactly.
that will address the issue of rape. Like what just happened on the ECOWAS working session, we were developing a roadmap for 2050 for young people to take over. And we said before young people take over, you need to provide quality education for us. We're developing a roadmap before young people take over. We need to be trained to leadership. Before young people take over, we must have access to these international conferences. And so you must develop a policy if you want to announce a policy. So when a policy document is drafted, then you will certainly achieve your goals, you will achieve your objective. At the end of the day, you can win the war against rape, because this is a societal issue, and Liberia can win the war, but we need to develop policy. That's the same thing happening with the issue of drug. No policy to who are the end user will always harass the citizen. So that must be done with the issue of rape in Liberia. Until that is done, Liberia is fighting a losing war against rape. And every day we lose some of our kids to rape, we lose our relatives to rape as well. And the society will be at risk. We'll have a generation that will be traumatized.
Exactly, because it has a serious psychological effect on the victim. It goes a very, very long way. It's still with you, like, I mean, forever. So this is something that must be taken very, very seriously. I wanted to know if gender ministry is working with the civil society and the all the NGOs, because what you just stated, you said that there was a case that you were called, yes, and then you also made a call to the Ministry of Gender. So if this is the case, if you can call them and tell them this is what is going on, the community organizations, they are more active than the gender officers that are in the county, because I don't hear anything that the gender officers are doing. So the Ministry of Gender should be able to partner with the civil society organizations so that they can, work together and bring, solution to this nightmare. Is this happening? Is the ministry partnering with civil society organizations, or they see them as as competitors?
The thing is that it's not to my knowledge that they are partnering with many youth organizations. They might be partnering with some of the organizations, but I think a lot more need to be done,
Yeah,
because there are other youth organizations in Bombing County. There are other youth organizations in Lima. There are other youth
yeah.
organizations in Bond County that have one of the highest number of rape cases. There are youth organizations in Montserrat County. So if I will voluntarily advise the Ministry of Gender, which of course I will not be paid for the consultancy, I'll be running to them, is that to call civil society organization because that's a voluntary or consultation I'm about to give to them.
I know, right?
Call the civil society groupings, call potential young people who are volunteering to make sure our society is on track, sit on the round table and put the question back to them. What is the way forward? How
Yeah,
can we win the war against rape? You will certainly get all of the best answers. But if you don't do that, if you can't work with our churches to preach on the pulpit about rape, you will not win this war. If you cannot work with the mosques to talk about the issue of rape, you will not win this war. Today, you cannot find over 300 jingles on radio talking about the issue of rape. There are just very few radio stations. Sometimes when this issue come out, when it is a national concern, they do a jingle, put it on the radio. It's not the solution, not because your kids are not affected, so you're not
that's
concerned.
right.
Not because your cousins and your nieces are not affected, so you are not concerned. So my free consultation to the ministry: call civil society organization, sit on the round table and ask them what is the way forward. Can we develop a roadmap for now to 2030 to reduce this amount of rape cases? During the coronavirus, Liberia had 930 some of rape cases just in the course of 3 to 6 months. So it was alarming,
Wow,
just in Montserrat County.
really
So
alarming.
what happens to the one
The
in
other
Lower Bond
counties.
County? What
Mm.
happened to Vonjama? What happened to other places? What happened to Pakistan and other places across this country? Because the awareness is actually not being done, and the Ministry of Gender should be championing such an awareness. Call the civil society. Let's develop a roadmap, and then we can win the war. Then all of us can get involved, because the president has raised alarm that there is a national emergency. So the ministry concerned should organize a program, should organize civil society. Then we can help you. We are in the community. We're seeing what is unfolding. You are in your air conditioned offices and riding your air conditioned vehicle. You don't know. Lawrence have to leave his house, go and run behind a 3 years old kid and raise alarm before the public have to adequately be informed that a 3 years old kid was raped. You didn't pay me for that service. So empower civil society organization, then we can help you. This is about Liberia. It's about the next generation. Then we can help you, and certainly we can win the war against rape.
Exactly. I agree with you. The need to partner with, because I think I made uh, a comment the last time on the same thing. The need to partner with civil society organizations, all the different community organizations, because if you want to succeed in this thing, everyone should be involved. The church, the mosque, and all the government agency responsible, they should all have the part to play. And what about the
So
hospital? Because there was there was a report that I got that they, I don't know whether you do your, your research and you have any information concerning the hospital, how the process, the cases that they receive, the rape cases, is it fast tracked or is it something that lagging because they want to have special want to have somebody to push it with money or something like that? How is it treated? How is the rape cases treated at the hospitals?
At our Vera Hospital, and this is no secret, our health sector is actually challenged. The health sector is poorly managed, and there are challenges in our health sector. So these rape cases actually go to the hospital, and at the end of the day, the hospital will do their findings and send it to the relevant authority, and they do the prosecution of those cases. So additionally, what need to be done, we say in one of our core, we need to have a special code to prosecute rape cases in Liberia. We need to have a set hospital just to look at the issue of rape cases. Then we are on the right track. But those cases go to hospital and the doctor do the medical checkup and send a report back to the police. The police rely on those reports, go to court. So at the end of the day, the perpetrator or the who be perpetrator will go to jail if that 2 years. I know some of the particular case who have been in jail for almost 5 to 6 years, and the lady they put him in jail for the lady have born all the 4 children, and nobody chasing that particular case. That case is still on the docket. So if you have a code and also you have this DNA machine that determine if this person do this to this person, and you will certainly be finding a sustainable solution to address the
That's
issue
right.
of rape. But sincerely, those cases go to hospital, like we have the Dubaro Hospital, we have the James David Hospital as well. We have Redemption. Those cases go there, and the doctor do their findings, and they give the information directly to the police, and the police rely on those information and go to court. So when you go to court now, sometimes your case is on the desk for more than 3 to 4 years. Sometimes your case will be on the docket for 5 to 6 years, and you are in there. You are going through no rehab. You are in there. Your case does not appear on the docket. So what happens to the future of that person? The person live in stigmatization, and that other man remain in the prison, whether he do it or not. Give him justice.
Hmm. Of course, everyone must have the day in court. Yeah. Every, so, is there some kind of means of transporting um, the perpetrator or the victim? Because the stories that we are getting is that the family usually have to take responsibility of all you know of the examination fees at the hospital. Sometimes the family have to transport the alleged perpetrator to the police station, all those kind of stuff. Is there no budget set to be able to facilitate that process? Because I believe one of the reasons why the
The
cases are so
budget is very low. It's a very low budget. Like the budget is very low. There are some police stations that do not have an official vehicles. Like I don't want to name a particular police station. I went to a police station and to see how best to talk to a few of my friends to give their contribution. And the police officer tell me we do not even have 10 in pen in this particular police station. In pen that you write with, we don't have even 10. He told me that they do not even have a range of sheet. He told me that they do not even have more than 5 chairs, rubber chair in that particular area. The police station is not paying. In our first place, they are challenged in a particular area. They don't have computer. They have to do their work, or they don't have printer. They have to do the work and get the work back to the public and print that out.
wow.
So if you can be challenged in those little areas, then have a vehicle. They don't have vehicles, some of the police station. Sometimes you have to use a private vehicle to transport the perpetrator, you transport the victim, and sometimes if you go to the police station, you have to buy your own sheet to
At the
register the
expense of
case. You
the
have to buy
victim's
your own
family,
pen to
right?
register the case and all of that. So of
at
the
the
family,
expense.
of the family, of that particular family. So if I carry a
It's
case to a
terrible.
police station, yeah, definitely. So if I carry a case to the police station, I must buy my sheet, I must buy my pen, if no pen to register that case, must transport the police officer to do the arrest to and from. So this is the extent to which they are challenged. Even the DEA in Pinjo City, which is the biggest city with an estimated population of close to 1 million residents, the DEA doesn't have a pickup. So if the DA want to do an arrest, they have to charter a motorbike to go and do an arrest or to effect a particular arrest as it relates to the issue of drugs. So the system is challenged, and we hope that the system can improve much.
Right. This is serious. So with the advocacy that is going on, is there any change in the fight against drugs, in the fight against
Come again?
addiction? With the advocacy, against drugs, drug abuse, and all the addiction that is happening, is there any change in the lives of the individuals, or in the policy they're supposed to enact to ensure that uh, the right thing is done to help these people? With the advocacy going on, with the awareness going on, is there anything, do you see any progress in how government is going to handle this, or how they are handling it? We're talking about drugs abuse, we're talking about drugs addiction. I can see that Lawrence, Ambassador Lawrence, is his internet is lagging, but this is
The the issue, yeah, the the issue of drug and substance abuse is one of the contributing factor to the falling of African generation. It is noted. And just to give few statistics, in 2008, I was part of the team of some professional young people that voluntarily conducted a youth report. And the report revealed that 81,000 young people live in the street in 2008. And so we have thousands of ghettos, like we put it to 55,000 ghettos, because we have ghettos in the book bag, we have ghettos in the homes, we have ghettos in the community. These days, the ghetto are not stationed, the ghettos are moving. Those young people transport these drugs. So for every place that you host a substance, you refer to that place as a ghetto. So some of them put the drug in their wallet, some of them put it in their book bag, some of them put it in their shoes. So everywhere those substances have been deposited, you refer to those
mhm.
places as a ghetto. So we have over 55,000 of them across Mosurado County. So like the fight against drug, we have brought some sanity to the fight against this money that is destroying the fabric of our society. Because in 2021, our organization, we led a campaign. We raised 10,998 signatures, and we petitioned the legislature for the passage of the drug law. And so after that, the petition was received. It was presented to the House of Representatives. It was read in the plenary. It was sent to committee room. And after 1 year plus, we have to prevail on our lawmaker for the passage of the drug law. So we we push them to the wall. We threaten them if the law is not passed, the young people will make it jobless in 2023. We told them don't come back to our community because you don't want to put the interests of young people on the table. And so God brought few of those guys who are supporting us, like the Representative Rosalind Dennis from District Number 4. Sincerely, she has been supporting the fight against drug. Honorable Ellen Ator, Lawrence Morris, and the lead campaigner and the lead proponent of the amended drug law, Representative Thomas Alexander Goswa from Grand Bassa. They led the campaign. They raised signature because it was sent to committee room for over 1 year now. So the law was not properly looked at. So he wrote the House of Representatives for a petition of discharge from the committee room. It was subsequently brought on the floor, and because of the series of threats on our national leaders, so they passed a drug law, and presently at the Liberian Senate. So right now, this is a final battleground, but some of those senators are not seeing the issue of drug as a contributing factor to the falling of our generation. We engaged Senator Prince Moi in Bond County. He promised to raise this issue on the floor. We gave in our petition before Minister Soni of the Ministry of Education. We also petitioned the House again through Honorable Edwin Melvin Snow to the bombing caucus. We also received our petition as well. And we also went back to Lower Bond County in former district. Papa Kule also received our petition. And since that time, there has been no much push in the House of Senate for the passage of the drug law. So as it is, the young people are growing in the numbers. I think we saw the photo of those ghetto, which is the biggest ghetto in
Yeah.
Pinzo called Zimbabwe. And that ghetto hosts 418 young people. The last time I went there, somebody died right in the ghetto, and they were right near that body, and they were smoking. And people
Wow.
are even giving birth in the ghetto as well. So just to tell you how this is increasing on a daily basis. So the fight against drug is a national concern. It's not a one-man fight, but I think the entire nation, they are aware that the issue of drug is a serious factor to the fall of our generation. But not much has been done from the end of the Liberian Senate. So the drug law is still in
So,
committee room and seeing our young people die.
there was a time that the head of one of the ghettos, he came out, I saw the press statement that he made. And these are people, because of their honor citing influence, they snatch your purse, they snatch your phone, and there are all kinds of things that happen. And you have this person coming on national radio to make a statement, and there were no arrests. Why is that? Is it accepted that this is what they're supposed to do and get away with it?
It is becoming a culture now that certain time you have to come to bed because personally your security will be at risk. So if you are in the street 9 o'clock, you are there at your own risk. And the Zogos now, when you put the army, you put the police, you put the immigration, they are more than that number. During the 14 years of civil war they fought in this country, I'm told that the manpower did not reach to 81,000. So the Zogos, they are more than that number. So if they take your phone, if you can manage to go into their zone and you have to pay them before you retrieve your items, or there will be a citizen arrest, and sometimes the citizen take the laws into their hand by maybe killing them on the street, and the government take siege of the body. So now people are providing their own security at their own expense because at times maybe the person will overpower you. Sometimes in Monrovia you need to go to work by 5 o'clock because you want to beat the heavy traffic, so you have to wait small when the day is closed. You go. If you don't do that, a certain part of the street, the guys will hijack you, they will take all of your materials, and if the police is not there, they will certainly get away with it. Or sometimes if they overpower you, they take it. If you overpower them, sometimes you kill them because you want to have the material being secure. So that is the situation. And our fear is that if nothing is done, they will certainly overpower this generation of young people that are
Mm.
to take over in the future to come.
My question here is that the police, can it not make an arrest? Are they all able to arrest? I mean, they are equipped, they have the training, so they should
Come
be
come
able to
again.
do
Let
the
me
work
get it
properly.
clear.
I'm saying, I'm asking this question. The police are equipped, the police are trained. Can they not arrest the Zokos, those ones that go around snatching people phone and wherever they can they not make an arrest? Like an example, there was a Zogo head that went on TV to make a statement. Why there were no why did they not arrest him? Because I mean, he's the head of these people that perpetrated all this evil. Why was he not arrested or called in for questioning by the police?
The, the yes, there was a time the police actually make an attempt to do an arrest in Douala. I think you heard about the death of 2 to 3 motorcyclists. Because if you go in their zone, they are also equipped with arms and ammunition. So sometimes they fire back at the police. There are some ghettos, they are dangerous to the extent we who are advocating for them, we don't easily go around that terrain. There's a ghetto called Stanford Bridge. You don't just go to Stanford Bridge easily. You you need to have a real manpower before you go to Stanford Bridge. So to just arrest them, sometimes the police will just play cool with them and make sure that the citizens are protected. But to just overpower them, it is not easy because if they escape from the police, they will go to another community and they will definitely cause trouble. So this is why we came out with a policy statement. We said that this is easy for Liberia to win a war against drug if the government would listen to our consultancy, our little advice we give them. One, the president should declare illicit drug and trafficking as a national emergency. This is one. Number two, after you declare this as a national emergency, identify that Liberia have 200 plus illegal borders entry points. So what you do is that empower the DA with a little of $5 million
Wait,
budget,
let me
and
hold you
then
there.
after you
What
empower the DA, we need to build.
Lawrence,
Mm,
what do you mean by 200 illegal
mm.
borders entry point?
Yeah, those are borders that are illegal
Because
that
yeah,
the
they come
trafficker
from
enter
out
into
of the
Monrovia
country.
anytime. Those are entry points. Those, yes, yeah, definitely. Those are entry points that you don't have security personnel because they are not enough. Those are places they will use the canal, they will come at a place that you do not have security and they will just come in the country easily. According to the DA report, those are entry
Wow.
points. So what you do, empower the DA, declare drug and trafficking as a national emergency, build a multi-purpose rehab center. When you build a multi-purpose rehab center, go back to the ghetto and voluntarily announce the recruitment of all young people on drug or Zogos to go to that rehab center, rehabilitate them, give them professional, technical, and vocational skills. So after 2 years, when they come back to society, definitely they are useful citizens. And then what you do is that before Lawrence the Yuga go to a university, he must do his drug test. Before he leave this country, he must do his drug test. Before he work to a radio station, he must do his drug test. Before he
Hmm.
join the police, work as minister, contest as representative, contest as senator, president, vice president, do your
Yes,
drug test, then
I agree with
Liberia
you.
will be on the right trajectory to win the war against drug. If the government can do that, certainly you will win the war against drug. But if you cannot build a rehab center, you cannot win the war against drug. You are fighting a losing battle. If the law is not strong, right now, the law protect the traffickers. The law protect the dealers. You will arrest somebody with a whole drum of drugs. You will take him to the court. You will file a bond of 75 United States dollars and come back to the community. So that is
Hmm.
not a solution. You need to make the law strong. So when I'm arrested with huge quantity of drugs and I have a special court to prosecute me, when I'm found guilty, go to jail for 25 years, seize all your property, give it to the government because that's a drug money, and then the government of Liberia can make use out of that particular property because you are damaging an entire generation. If you go to Bond County, the issue of drug is there. If you go to Nima, it's there. We
It's
just talk
all over.
that if all of the young people get crazy in Monrovia, we will go to Grand Bazaar to go and take some of the young people, bring them to Monrovia and work. We just thought that when the young people in Monrovia are not serious, we will go back to the interior and bring some of them. But it's not the case. In the interior now, they were the trafficking drug on most of those gold mines. And when they take the drug, at the end of the day, they will work and work and work for little of nothing. So the society, the generation of young people, they are depleting to the issue of drug and
Hmm.
substance abuse.
This is serious. This is really, really serious. And I hope our lawmakers will do the right thing and
And people are even
those that
giving birth in the ghetto.
yeah, yeah. That is it's so sad thinking about the whole situation. Well, we will continue the advocacy until we see some result because we can just not remain mute and expect change to come. And most of the time, you find other people will say, why are you saying the same thing over and over?" But we have to keep saying the same thing over and over until we see change. So it's about hammering the nail on the head until you see it penetrates. So we want to say, Ambassador Lawrence, we want to close. Can you give us your closing statement?
Yes, it was actually good to be on the show. Just an introductory part of this program, and more will be talked about. We will give
Yeah.
the government of Liberia free strategy and ways and means to tackle some of those social issues
They are not
so
paying for
that
the
we can
consultancy.
definitely make Liberia better. Yeah, so like we said, the Liberia we want, and we want a Liberia that will end sexual and gender-based violence. It may not be 100%. We want a drug-free Liberia. We want a Liberia that you will walk on Broad Street 10 o'clock with your smartphones and nobody will harass you. We want a Liberia that all of the young people will have access to justice, that you can speak your mind freely and nobody will actually get at you. This is the kind of Liberia that we actually dream of. So, in order to get that Liberia, we have to win the war against sexual and gender based violence. We have to win the war against drug. We have to win the war against youth unemployment. We have to look at the issue of poverty. We have to look at the issue of education. So, if that is done, and I can tell you that most of the young people will not be striving to go to the most talk about United States. Go, you can make America in Liberia. You can remain here and have an independent minds and all of that. So I want to say thank you for the show. And as we push to 2023, we may likely provide some education for our young colleagues. We're telling them don't vote for rice, but you have to vote for the issue. Well, actually,
Exactly.
good to be on
You
the show.
just you
And we hope that
just
next week we can have
you
somebody.
just spoke my thoughts. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully maybe next week we may definitely have someone on the show. I will make an arrangement with Pastor Jerry. He run a Redeemed Church of God rehab center to where he
Oh, great.
rehabilitating young people. And some of them have graduated from college. They are medical doctor now. Some of them
Oh,
are
wow.
into professional schools and they regretted the day they went into drug. It's not easy. The issue about drug, they have no boundary. The mayor of
Mm-hmm.
Painesville had called me and cried. She said, Lawrence, my only son is into drug. So this thing have no boundary. And sometimes the lady will carry him to the rehab. He would leave that rehab center, go to McGibby, the lieutenant of that county. His only son is on drug. And so this thing hit the home of the rich, it hit the home of the poor. So thank you so much that I actually make a W and this platform will bring permanent Liberians so we can quiz them about the issue
Yeah.
of drug, about the issue of sexual and gender based violence. We'll talk maybe about the Bible sometimes if the need arises, maybe if
Oh, yeah.
politics can be mixed with Christianity and all of that. But it's actually good to
Of
be on the show
course.
today. Yeah.
Thank you so much. They think here God wants us to, talk about the full gospel. The full gospel comprises your daily living, your salvation, everything else about the person. So it's not only about us sitting in church and preaching. It's about talking about the well-being, helping the person whatever way in which you can help. And so loving, because if you love your neighbors, you will do what is right. Yeah, so I'm glad we started this, and I want to say thank you to our viewers out there. And I want to say to our young ones, another election is coming again. This is not about rice. This is not about t-shirt. This is about your destiny. Don't
Mhm.
put people there because they gave you some fake promises. There are people that promised you heaven and earth before they got there, and they are still there. They are in comments. Now, if they promise you heaven and earth and they were there and they did nothing and they are coming to make another promise, you better be wise. Be wise. Don't go and vote the CEO people that started giving you some lies, and at the end of the day, they did nothing. And don't vote someone because they gave you rice or because they gave you t-shirt. Vote because you believe that the platform the person has is going to bring change to the situation as it concerns the nation, as it concerns your community, as it concerns education, healthcare. The youth is the future generation of that nation. If the youth is going nowhere, then just imagine 20 years from now how that nation is going to look. So you are voting the future of Liberia. So this is the time now. Election is not now, it's next year. But we have started the advocacy. If you are in that house or you are in the Senate and you did not do well for your constituency, know that they're not voting you back in that place. It's time for you to get out. So, young people, open your eyes. We will be here again to bring you another time of awareness and talk about all we need to talk about. We'll keep talking it and talking it and talking it. God bless you. Thank you so much, Ambassador Lawrence. And thank you, our viewers out there. Today was just the first day. We didn't even make a lot of public stating, but I know we're gonna talk about it more.
Yeah.
And next time we're gonna, we'll do better than what we did today. God bless you and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. In the name of Jesus, God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, it was good. It was good. That was Ambassador Lawrence. There you go. Ambassador that is preaching, teaching, reaching out to the young people to ensure there is change. We all must fight to bring change. God bless you.